When did you last do something just for you? Not because he'd like it and not because it would make the relationship easier, just because you wanted to. Now, just take a moment with that question, because a lot of women I talk to, when they're deep in a relationship, can't answer it. Their hobbies have quietly disappeared. Their friends hear from them less. Their opinions have softened to match his. And at some point, without one big dramatic moment, they just stopped being themselves. And the strange thing, they often didn't notice it was happening until it was already done. It starts small. You don't mention the thing you're excited about because you're not sure he'll get it or he'll like it. You skip the plans with your friends because he seems a bit off, and you don't want to leave him like that. You start watching his shows instead of yours. You start dressing slightly differently, laughing at things you don't find funny. None of it feels like a big deal in the moment. It feels like compromise, like love. But zoom out 6 months and you look in the mirror and you're not entirely sure who's looking back. Your opinions feel blurry. Your needs feel like an inconvenience. And somewhere along the way, his emotions became your job. This is what losing yourself looks like from the inside. It doesn't happen all at once. It's 1,000 tiny disappearances. The psychology of what's happening here has roots in something called the fawn response. You probably heard of fight, flight, and freeze, the ways our nervous system responds to threat. Fawn is the fourth one, and it's the most socially rewarded, which is why it's the hardest to see. Fawning is the instinct to appease, to make yourself smaller, more agreeable, more useful to keep the peace, to prioritize someone else's comfort so completely that your own needs stop feeling important. And for a lot of women, this response developed in childhood as a way to navigate relationships where it didn't feel safe to have needs, where being too much, too loud, too needy led to disapproval and withdrawal of love. So you learned to adapt, to read the room, to become whoever the situation needed you to be. And that was a genius survival skill back then. In relationships now, it's a thing that's slowly erasing you. So here's the deeper thing. A lot of women who lose themselves in relationships don't actually believe at the core level they are enough as they are. On the surface, they might feel confident, capable, self-aware, but underneath that, there's a quiet belief that the love they receive is contingent on how well they perform, how little trouble they cause, and how perfectly they manage everything around them. So they give and give and give, because giving feels safer than just being. And the relationship that takes the most from them often feels like the most intense love they've ever experienced, because they've invested the most of themselves into it. Losing yourself in a relationship isn't a flaw. It's what happens when loving someone feels more urgent than knowing yourself. So this is the shift. Step 1. Start noticing the edits. Begin paying attention to the moments you edit yourself. When you swallow an opinion. When you say yes to something and you want to say no. When you shrink. You don't have to change anything yet. Just notice. Step 2. Reclaim one thing. What's one thing you've quietly let go of since being in this relationship or in relationships generally? A hobby, a friendship, a way of dressing, a dream. Reclaim one thing, not as a statement, just as an act of remembering who you are. And step 3, practice the discomfort of being seen. The goal isn't to become someone who needs nothing. The goal is to become someone who can let herself be known fully, messily, imperfectly, and trust that she's still worthy of love. That starts with small acts of honesty, saying what you actually want for dinner, telling him when something bothers you, letting yourself be a bit inconvenient. You don't find yourself after a relationship ends. You find yourself by refusing to fully disappear while you're in one. So this week, I want you to ask yourself this one question. What have I stopped doing since I started prioritizing everyone else? Just notice. Write it down if that helps. You came into this world as someone, a full, specific, irreplaceable, amazing someone, and no relationship, no matter how much you love someone, should cost you that. This is your life. Now drop a comment and tell me one thing you've reclaimed or one thing you've realized you've lost, and I read every single one. So in the next episode, episode 4, why you push people away when things actually get good, subscribe so you'll be there for it. Thank you for being here.